obviously had a pretty good beat on what Jimbo Fisher was doing at Florida State with Willie Taggart and the new staff. How difficult is it? Do you go back to looking at film from Oregon, or do you think you have enough footage from what they've done this year?
Well, we've did that in the out of season in spring and summer. Looked at Oregon stuff and obviously what they're doing now. So, every year is different. You got a group of players. Certainly, when you start over, you kind of go back to what the best. But they've even this season what they started with, kind of where they're at now, is a little bit different than what they started with. But I know they've got a terrific group of skilled athletes, starting with the quarterback. That's a terrific player and a great quarterback, and the running back, the skill receiver and tight end, Trey McKitty. Very, very talented group of players. Like to play with tempo, like to run the ball, take a bunch of shots down the field, a variety of exotics, formations and things of that nature, and deceptive type plays. So we're going to really have to have a great week of preparation, and because they can match up with you, with your skill outside. They very explosive group of players.
Has their offensive line improved as the season's progressed?
It has. It has. So I don't know what their numbers say that they're doing, but I know that their last few weeks they've really started to play a lot more cohesive, and not giving up nearly as many big plays, negative plays rather. And just, again, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure out what you got and, who can do what, once you start playing other people.
They had some problems over on the right side earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Moving a tight end over there, or have they just gotten better at blocking?
I think they've just, feel more cohesive in what they're doing, scheme-wise. Run-wise, protection-wise, all of it, and the tight end, McKitty, is a really good player. Very similar to the tight end that didn't play against us from Syracuse, number 6 for them. They happen to be the same number, but big, long, athletic, strong, tough, can block, create some problems out in space. Really excellent receiver.
Right there, running back Akers. Good kid last year, didn't really pan out like he wanted to. This year seems like he's starting to take hold.
Well, it was last year's a true freshman, right? And I think everybody saw glimpses, and they had other backs. I think in the role that you had him, you saw him in, you saw him like, wow, he's a very, very good player, very explosive, great instincts, runs behind his pads well, terrific speed. He's a home run hitter, and they're finding ways to get him the ball out in space as well as in their run game. So if as you always say, it always starts up front, both sides of the line of scrimmage, and so I think as that's gotten more consistent for them up front these last few weeks, I think you're starting to see all of their playmakers benefit from it.
Dabo said Nolan Turner was one of the better players on the field Saturdays. How have you seen him grow when he got here?
Just confidence, probably. That's been the biggest thing. He didn't come in here as a fragile by any stretch, but just all young players, as they transition. I say all, a lot of them transitionally, they, what's my role, what you need me to do, and just doing his job. But he's impressed all of us, not just this last week, but he's really this fall had a great fall camp and knows what to do, and he's a good athlete, can tackle well in space, can run, tough kid. You can coach him hard. Really been pleased with his development.
I know he didn't have many offers at all. What did you guys see that made you?
His instincts, his ability to run. He's very good in space. Had great hips. Played super fast, and makes plays on the ball. And you see his tackling ability in space has been really good. So he makes a really instinctive, natural play on the onside kick. And again, whatever we've asked him to do, he's really done a great job. He's had probably one play that he'd like to have back so far this season in the role that he's had, and has been an excellent special teams player as well. Again, just a very reliable, consistent player. Those are your best players always. the ones that, you can trust in knowing what to do, play with effort, play with toughness, and you got some ability, as well. But he's an ultra consistent player, really understands our system.
That open field tackle that you made on Lamar Jackson last year, how much do you think that did for his confidence?
I mean, sure, put that in that was a good play, I was like, wow, all right. I'm sure it was big, but, we've seen that consistently from him. Had, again, a nice open field tackle, and maybe it was a third down play on Saturday as well. So, but that was a huge play. You don't see many guys one-on-one get him down like that,
It looks like they're doing things differently with Francois than the last time you studied him a couple years ago, the offensive system.
Well, I mean, yeah, the system's different. It's just a different flavor, different DNA of the spread offense. They go really fast. They give you multiple formations. You're going to get zone read. You're going to get pop passes. They're going to take shots down the field. You're going to get motion and screens, and again, unbalanced sets. That's the spread offense that we all know. It's just a different, flavor and variety. Again, yeah. So Francois is. They've got a lot of designed QB run game that's there for him if he chooses it. It's RPOs. I can throw it here, take the quarterback counter here, based on probably numbers, and gets the ball out of his hands fast. Reads defenses very well. Throws with velocity and accuracy. Great toughness. Super tough guy. Got great respect for DeAndre, and obviously we didn't have to play him last year. He was hurt, and yeah, he's a terrific player, and again, he's starting to get into a rhythm, and getting comfortable with what they're doing on offense.
Speaking to his toughness, 2 years ago, you guys just battered him, and he just kept getting back up.
Yeah.
We've seen it time and time again.
Well, early in the year, when again they're working through some things offensively, same thing, and again now he's doing really well.
Greg, coming into the year, Isaiah Simmons was a guy that you were having to really look at and step into a role. You challenged him quite a lot with the different offenses you faced over the last few weeks. Can you talk to us about what he has brought to the defense?
Well, he's versatile. He's long and he's athletic, can run. We're still trying to get him polished up. He made a bunch of plays, had a ton of production on Saturday, and if he just cleans up a few things, whether it's in alignment, eyes, technique and coverage, technique in the run game, he probably would have been player of the game. And there's a lot of little things that he's working on diligently. And, I think that, he's going to just be a terrific disruptive player. And he's doing pretty good now. And but I think there's still so much more for him. And he gives you, again, a 6'4", 225 pounds that can go cover people up. And he's long and athletic and blitz, and just he can make up. He can be wrong in a lot of ways, whether that's a leverage or his technique or things of that nature, and can still cover up for his mistakes. And a lot of players can't do that. So he's got a lot of just natural disruption and ability, very much like, say, Xavier Thomas. Does a lot of little things wrong, but you wouldn't know it to the naked eye, and because they can cover up for it with his ability. But so trying to refine him and continue to do that and develop him, and I have a lot of confidence that'll continue to happen, and he'll become a great player because he does work. He loves to work, and he lets you coach him hard.
Day in and day out, what's it like to be around and to coach
Kayvon? Kayvon's fun. He's a good teammate. He's very supportive of his teammates. Encouraging. He's got a lot of natural ability, good instincts for the game, a good feel for the game. Can play, multiple positions for us, and he's still that maturation process is still happening for him mentally and physically. Has a chance to be, again, another terrific player. He's not yet, and think he's a good player. And if when he decides he's going to do all the little things right all the time, then again, he can kind of fill in the blank himself, as far as the adjectives and what he could become. But love where he's at and the direction that he's going, and has played really pretty well for us, in every game this year.
He said after the game that he has a chip on his shoulder whenever he plays NC State because they didn't recruit him. Do you wish more schools hadn't recruited him?
Oh, I'll remind him. Florida State didn't recruit him. Yeah, there's a long laundry list of people, which is good, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
Another player that seemed to have made some marked improvement is that Tanner Hughes is starting to put a couple of games together
Yeah.
in a row. Talk about recovery. Talk about the play where he got burned.
He didn't get burned. It was Jalen Williams that got burnt. And he's just a help guy and made a great play, really saved Jalen's butt. But that was a very good play. Did a great job of getting back to in an in-phase position, as we say, as opposed to panicking and running into the guy and puts his hands in there and rips the ball out, played the guy's hands. And it was one of those, oh, my God moments, and then it was, oh, great, It was like you could see it immediately that we weren't in a good position. So he did a great job in recovering and making a play. But he's really continued to mature and play within the system, and shows his speed, shows his physicality, had a nice sack off the edge early, and always plays tough with great emotion, and has really worked hard at improving his fundamentals and technique and how he fits in the system, and really understands what he can and can't do, and is just coming into his own, as well. But a great leader, a great worker, very diligent in the film room every day. Works hard at taking care of his body, and again, just being a good teammate and being coachable and those types of things. So real proud of Tanner.
Coach Scott was talking about how Florida State's out-recruited Clemson several times recently. Does it help when you have a veteran group to kind of show them maybe the record doesn't match the talent that they have?
Yeah, again, just as you would expect, when you start over, you have a new staff coming in. It's not always, most of the time, it's not an easy transition, and to varying degrees. But yeah, our players, there's a bunch of guys that have played against Florida State, and when you look at their big play cut up, they've got from this season a lot of explosive playmakers on their team, and it's not just one guy. It's 6 at tight end, or 15, a freshman receiver that is really fast and big. We're not the only team that's got, big, athletic, explosive playmakers. They've got them too. And just a sophomore, and again, he's had a lot of explosive plays so far this year. And Keith Gavin and Naquan and number 8, you see those guys making plays all over the field. So this year, yeah, it won't be hard for our guys to before they even show up here, they already know who Florida State is and what they're capable of.
Coach, was Jake walking around the house with his chest out?
Oh, he was pumped. He was pumped. Him and Mike Jones both about ready to cry. Mike Jones must have told me he loved me 30 times, and so it was pretty funny. But yeah, it was good for him, to get out there, And I really didn't anticipate, so I didn't even prep him at all about what to do. So during the dissertation, the 30-second dissertation, all right, here's going to be the couple of calls, and here's kind of what to expect, and here's what you do. Jake's standing there, his lips started getting blue and purple, and I'm like, what is wrong with your lips? He goes, I'm getting cotton mouth, and so it was pretty funny. They couldn't believe it. Was like 2 kids on Christmas morning and I wasn't going to put them in. I had no, and then they came up to me and said, hey, think we can get a play? And I'm like, well, maybe. And so you really, the only thing is you'd like to have put some other guys. That the plan was getting more other guys in there earlier, but that since those 2 are redshirting, their opportunities are not guaranteed. So we took advantage of it. They both got in there and did pretty well.
Are you seeing a tangible difference with those guys in the scout team, knowing that they can get in there and earn themselves some playing time and still redshirt?
Oh, sure, yeah. I think it's a tremendous. The rule, is really beneficial in just so many ways. But even just mentally, because going down to the scout team and going to work every day is such a difficult job and a thankless job. And so to be able to reward them a few games, just get a few reps out there, get some, I think gives them a little added juice and motivation, for the future. And obviously the experience is invaluable.
Brent, Coach Lee told us yesterday that the plan is now to possibly redshirt
Mhm.
KJ Henry. Also on Saturday, you got Justin Maskell in.
Mhm.
Speak on both KJ's red shirt and the development of Maskell since he's got here.
Yeah, so KJ was somebody that really felt, hey man, I could really benefit from a redshirt year, and so he's the one that kind of pushed that agenda, and we weren't against it. We just didn't know how our position was going to be, and early, before you get to the season. So we didn't have any intentions to redshirt any of them until you get out and you have a chance to evaluate him. And he's a long, athletic, disruptive, but we have a group right now based on some of our older guys that we don't have to play him, and he's all for it, and the benefits of Power Hour are going to really make a difference for him. And so couldn't be more excited about KJ and what he has shown us so far. And then, Justin is just, we feel really good about Justin. He's a very natural pass rusher, a great natural strength. And again, Power Hour is going to really benefit him. He's going to run and bend. Justin's going to be a terrific player. And he's got the right mindset. He's just got a motor that won't stop. And, they can't quit raving about him down on scout team. Just his effort and his toughness every day.
Another player I'd like to ask a question about, Darnell Jeffries.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about what Darnell's brought to the team and how his red shirt is going.
Yeah, so his redshirt year's going well. He's a little bit more under construction, getting his body right and strength and conditioning and the right kind of added weight. But Darnell's got a great attitude every day, and he really lets you coach him hard, and takes a lot of pride in his effort and his diligence and studying and knowing what to do, his technique and those types of things. So, Darnell's done well.
The difficulty of actually cutting down, what you travel 33 years on the ball, 33, 34 guys.
Whatever they tell us we can take. Yep.
How difficult was that getting the depth of this team that to get to just that number?
Sure, there's always a handful of 4, 5, 6 guys that deserve to go or capable of going that you can't do it. So it's very difficult when you have the quality of the players that we do. So Coach Sweeney makes those decisions. He asks us, he gets our input, but that's a tough thing to manage week in and week out. It's not real as cut and dried as you'd think it would be, because of the special teams and where each position what you're able to do at linebacker, for example, is affected by what's going on at running back. And because there's always swapping guys out, both sides of the ball, what they're doing on special teams, that type of thing. So it's not just set in stone for the whole season, as you know. It can vary from week to week, as guys continue to develop or you get injuries, those types of things. It did early in the year. More so. But as guys start to eliminate, for example, like a KJ, he's met his threshold, so he can't, get put back in the game. So.
You brought up the big physical receivers that Florida State puts out.
Mhm.
Over the last few weeks, you've seen a few of those combinations, including this past week
Yeah.
at NC State. Discuss the advantage and how well you think both Trayvon and AJ have done this year, and their size, and how much that helps you guys in controlling the big guys out there.
Yeah, well, it's just that law of inertia. So, you get the big guys on big guys. It's as long as they can run and hold up fundamentally and technique-wise, it's, provides better matchups as opposed to having a bunch of midgets. Sometimes smaller guys play big, though, too. You've had guys like that, like McKenzie, I don't know if small is the right word, but you know, he's a 5'10" and a half, 5'11" guy, not 6'1" or 6'2". So, yeah, Ryan Carter, you know, was our co-MVP last year on a really good defense, and because he played like he's 6'2". But it is good, you know, to match up with length, and they're big guys, you know, they can run as well, and so they create problems for everybody. And but we're fortunate to have a couple guys with length, and again, Mark Fields has got experience. You know, he's played against every type of receiver. So you know, those guys in particular, you know, you feel pretty solid about matching up with a lot of teams.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Thank you.
You bet.
I'm gonna bring